the end of it all. We've barreled through everything that hell has to offer, had to send against us, and not a single thing could stop us, except for, you know, pretty much everything. So, final episode. We're going to do a talkie episode. Probably going to be a lot of screaming in the mic. So, apologies in advance for that. But, yeah. We're just going to cram in. And hope this is going to be good enough. Gonna be exceedingly liberal with ammo, since I seem to always conserve ammo on every single boss. Here we go. Ow. Oh, shit. Sorry about the silence. Just didn't realize I'm not even talking. Well, that's the first part, I'm guessing. Usually these fuckers always have a secondary part. Knee deep in the dead.
You've won. It's over. You stopped the invasion and closed the portal. But it's come at a price. Argent, Vega, this entire operation. You see, I've watched your work. Come to understand your motivation. You think the only way is to kill them all, leave nothing behind. And you may be right. But we can't just shut it all down. Without Argent energy, it will be worse. I don't expect you to agree. But with this, we can continue our work. I am not the villain in this story. I do what I do because there is no choice.
Rerouting tether coordinates complete.
Our time is up. I can't kill you, but I won't have you standing in our way. Until we see each other again.
So, yeah, well, apparently that's it. That's the single-player Doom campaign. Fun as hell. No ifs, ands, or buts. There's no denying that this wasn't exceedingly fun. In every regard of the word fun. The downside, obviously, being that some of it was really, really touchy and really gimmicky. Quite a few of those moments are not really well shown or explained. And holy crap, that is young. That is loud, I should say. Alright. Just get something a little quieter. So, yeah, very fun, but like I said, there's a lot of gimmickiness to it, which does get a little annoying here and there. The fact that they don't really show certain what certain buttons did, so I'm like spinning around in circles looking for the thing. Again, that might have been my own inability to perceive or see what it was hinting at. So that's my own issue there. The bosses were kind of jarring, actually. There's a total of 3 bosses in this game: the Cyber Demon, the Hell Guards, and you have to fight 3 of those. One is gimmicky as shit. The other one is just shoot some more and do a little bit of dodging. The spider mastermind there, not too difficult. By then you're just like, whatever, I have everything I need, just chuck at everything, don't hold anything back. If you've been even remotely picking up Argent energy like I was, you'll have enough health and armor and whatnot to survive it, so there's no issue there. The Cyber Demon and the Hell Guards, well, the Cyber Demon one fight is a little gimmicky. The first Hell Guard was just completely gimmicky with its shield, and you can only hurt it at certain points. You know, whatever. But the jarring part of the boss battles are that the entirety of Doom's battle every time you get into a battle, it's very fast, very fluid, very quick. Even when you're not in combat, you can it kind of feels like you're always sliding across a layer of butter or ice. So everything feels like you're just moving ridiculously quickly. And then all of a sudden, it's a one-on-one battle with a very enclosed section of a map, and that's it. Just go at it. There's no pickups, nothing like that on the field other than the BFG shots that I didn't know were BFG shots, so that was my own stupidity for not just blasting away with that. So it's very jarring because of the quick 180. Because like I said, all the combat is get in there, move a lot, shoot things, keep moving, hit hard, keep moving. Enemies are going to come in from all directions, just, pulse pounding. It's everything you want in the Doom games. You want this idea that things are just going to keep coming at you. You don't know when it's going to stop. You don't know when you finally hit that breaking point where it's just mop up mission. Just clean out whatever happens to have survived your mass genocide in that room. Which was great because a lot of the rooms are also multi-tiered, so there's plenty of places you can run away to or come around into different attacks from, which was fantastic. It's fun. I would say that my only hold on that. The fun part is the Pinky Demons being way more powerful than they were in any other. Well, maybe not all the other ones, because Doom 3's Pinkies were kind of like massively annoying too. But the fact that they are like super armored, the fact that a lot of times when you do fight them, you are in a very enclosed environment. The hallway where I just kept getting mutilated by them, or the specters, is a clear case. Especially since your double jump isn't much of a double jump. If you've been watching that, you'd notice that it's kind of like a little grasshopper hop at the top of your otherwise meh jumping ability to begin with. So you couldn't jump over them. There were several times where I had no way of dodging quickly enough, so I always resorted to jumping. And I couldn't jump over the Pinky's charge, which was ridiculous because, they're pretty fairly low to the ground and whatnot. Say what you will for physics or whatever you want to say. So yeah, that was really, really not really conducive to that. I felt really screwed on that, and like I said, the boss battles were very jarring, slow paced, all of a sudden dodgy things and whatnot. And the story is, I can't actually give an A to the story, just from sheer what the fuckery. So right away you're introduced to the UAC, the United Aerospace Corporation, being on Mars, taking up and making Argent energy, which is an issue to begin with because Argent is Latin for silver, and all of the indications show that it is red. So thank you for just taking a random word that sounds mystical and completely missing its meaning and whatnot. But you're going to look me in the eye and tell me that everyone in the UAC knew they were fucking around with hell, that they got the Argent energy from another dimension that was hell. It wasn't. They named it hell, or the Nether, or the other world. You could have at least done that. It's another world. We're just taking energy from it. Everyone knew it was the literal hell with demons, and they called them demons. They knew what was going on. Up and down the ladder, they might not have known that they were trying to cybernize them and all that, but they even made reference to the fact that Tier 1 assets, Tier 1 advocates, or whatever they want to call them, knew about the fact that there could be a possibility of untethered creatures roaming outside or outside on the surface of Mars, which means that they knew it was hell. and demons. And in the beginning, it was something like 63,000 something casualties, right? Which is the entire population of this area. Um, which, uh, not a single one, right? Not even one person in this entire organization went, wait, we're getting this energy, this argent energy from hell with demons, the literal, actual biblical hell, fire and brimstone bullshit. This can't go well. No one stopped to say that. No one, not a single person went, this has all the earmarks of something just going terribly wrong. Why are we fucking around with the literal hell? I mean, it's like, and it's an issue in a lot of games. It's not just Doom here, or Doom games in general, period. Because other Doom games had at least a feasible backstory on why the fuck all this went wrong. But in a lot of games nowadays, they make every single NPC, whether you meet them or not, or whether they're actual NPCs, or they're just, like, in this, 63,000 casualties, dumber than a box of rocks, to the point they've never read a single goddamn book in their life. Never once stopped and read any fantasy book in existence. No, they are all dumb, complete scientists. They only have ever read science manuals. So in that case, then technically them calling it what the demons call it hell would be a complete stupid. I can't think of the correct word here. Stupidity, because a scientist doesn't believe in hell. A scientist doesn't believe in demons, so therefore they would have come up with their own words for things, because that's what we do as humans. We think of our own words for things, even when we're dealing with other humans. You change it to fit your language usually. We don't do it as much anymore because we want to be open, whatever. Political debate aside. So, that made no sense. Not a single person thought this was a dumb idea. Not a single person spoke up and said, hey, this is going to go wrong. Here's why. You don't fuck around with hell. Come on. Every time we as humanity think, oh, we have a grasp of everything, we can control everything, the thing that we have control of always, always, always bites back and shows us that we are not in control. Kind of like, hate to say it, Titanic. Oh, it's unsinkable. It shall conquer Mother Nature. It's undefeatable. Maiden voyage, it gets sunk by a fucking iceberg. Good job. So yeah, no one really gives any explanation of why Olivia Pierce does this. She just goes off the deep end for no reason. She's not shown why she does it. I can guess that it has something to do with the fact that, apparently in her little thing, she contracted a disease that would have left her wheelchair bound because it was a spinal thing. She decided, instead of being wheelchair bound, because a scientist absolutely needs their legs, and God forbid a scientist in a wheelchair, they can't be taken seriously. Stephen Hawking. So she takes a stupid experimental procedure, which, I'm sorry, but we have a dude who was literally dying, the guy who's in charge of this, Samuel Hayden, Dr. Samuel Hayden, have biotransference. He downloaded the entirety of his brain into a computer chip, basically, or whatever. They flip-flop because apparently he's got an actual regular brain. So biotransference, my ass, you just made him a brain in the jar in a computer. Which by the look of that head could not fit a human-sized brain in there. So, go figure. And not a single one of those parts looked like it could contain any organic matter whatsoever in it. So, yeah, whatever. So you have that, and you don't have some sort of non-experimental procedure that could effectively stop this cancer, or give her a, you know, a fix her spine so she could continue to walk without apparently excruciating pain, which she would not take any pain medication for. Look, she's a scientist. She ain't freaking set for survival and torture and all that stuff. So how is it that she can then survive through excruciating pain without her mentality being fucked up? I'm sorry, but if you've ever watched an anime or a movie or even some shows that try to get certain things, say you get shot or stabbed in the gut, and you know, medical help is a long way away. It's not coming anytime soon. You'll probably bleed to death long before they get there. You know, you see in most movies and whatnot, they cauterize their own wounds, superheated. Well, in the few instances where they do that and they take it to the logical conclusion, most people black out several dozen times from sheer pain. If she's in that kind of pain all the time with no painkillers or treatment because she wants to keep her mind at full capacity, she'd be a raving lunatic. She'd be screaming out the walls every goddamn day, unable to do anything from sheer pain. Her body would shut down, her psyche would collapse, you know, all the fun stuff. We're not designed to take pain. Or she's running on adrenaline all the goddamn time, in which case she's technically a dopamine junkie, or an adrenaline junkie. So, I'm guessing the Lords of Hell started chatting with her through artifacts or psychic powers or whatever, and it doesn't explain. There's no explanation in the entire goddamn game. And offer her a way out of this excruciating hell of torment and pain by sacrificing this entire group. So that's my only explanation. Either that or she got possessed at some point. So yeah, I am utterly confounded on the story here, why it happened. Especially in the one part where they basically go and explain the council doesn't believe she's making rash and illogical decisions. So why would you continue to let her have any sort of amount of leveled clearance on anything? If she's not making rash and logical decisions, yet you basically allow her continued free clearance access to a power source greater than a fusion device, as they explain, and Argent Energy is able to create more energy than the output of a star. Whose brain dead idea was that? As soon as you figure out that she cannot make rash, informed decisions, she should be locked up, sedated, and all ability for her to access any kind of a clearance terminated. And yet you let her continue to have access to the Lazarus projects and everything, which is mind-numbing. Completely and utterly mind-numbing. And then the armor chips you pick up for armor upgrades from the Crimson Guards or the Elite Guards are Olivia Pierce's own private guards, like the super soldiers. Why didn't she indoctrinate any of them into service? She could have had, like, super possessed soldiers in full, like, almost Predator armor running around shooting at me in that final battle, or any battle. No, she let them all die and blah blah blah, and like, for maybe, I don't know, they would have automatically started fighting the demons that she didn't want. I don't know, because it seemed like every single person under her direct laboratory control were indoctrinated cultists to an extreme. Like, these people just went completely off the deep end absolutely, with no prodding whatsoever, other than, oh, in order to do science, we have to do mystical occult things like stab people and yank their brains out and, bleed them. Because that sounds sciencey. Mind you, all these people who are directly under her control at the Lazarus Projects are all Tier 3 advocates. People who have gotten to the top achievement awards in the UAC. So these are men and women of astute learning and practical thinking, and scientific thinking. They're rational, they're logical, they're not blinded by any kind of faith or mysticism or anything like that. And apparently she only needs to prompt them a little bit, because we don't even know a timetable in this goddamn game, for them to just completely jump off the deep end and go into, like one of those holograms showed, stabbing a guy to death, mutilating his innards for what, I don't know. It doesn't even show what happens at the end. I'm guessing a hell portal will open. So the story is exceedingly shaky. I'm almost laughing my ass off from the fact that they actually call him the Doom Marine in canon, as opposed to it just being what us fans call them, because he was a Marine and the game is called Doom, so we're going to call him the Doom Marine because he has no voice, has no name, has nothing. He barely has a face. So, yeah, really weird. Silly. The backstory for him, kind of cool. I wish I would have a little bit more info. The little tidbits here and there that we can latch to something we understand is very, very vague. My guesstimation is he either was or was one of the Night Sentinels from the Argent Denure. I don't know how to pronounce it, so don't hate me for mispronouncing that. Who was supposed to detect the elemental wraiths and whatnot. Or he was the betrayer. Realizing the folly in what he did, he probably got his son back, and then they mutilated the shit out of him because he couldn't stop them from doing it, and he took up the mantle of fury for the betrayal he did and all that. And once again we're stuck with the it's a sick and annoying cliche. It's probably truthful about humans or humanoid people who have consciousness and whatnot, that they will always pick family over, an entire planet. Well, I got your family here. If you forsake your duties, I will spare your family. You get your family, but when you do, the entire planet gets destroyed. And the heroes always buckle and take. It's a huge annoyance. I know there's connections and all that, but I can't. Obviously, I've never been given that kind of a situation. But you'd think every once in a while they could just at least be like, no, it's just my son, as opposed to my entire race. Kind of thing. Again, that's another thing. Obviously, because you always know you're going to get fucked over. Again, read a goddamn comic. Read a goddamn fiction book, people. No, demons are not to ever be trusted in any kind of dealing ever. At all. You will never come out on top. Unless, you go for hardcore fantasy and, the true name. But that's a whole different ballgame. So, as a whole, the story gets a big, fat fucking F. The story is shit. It's crap. Samuel Hayden fucks you over in the end for $1 bill. Basically, he pulls the old trope, I'm the head of the corporation, I helped you and blah 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 blah, but I can't trust you not to completely fuck up any other things we do with the hell because I'm gonna start it up again because I saw how well it went the first fucking goddamn time. It all went shit up real easy. One person destroyed your entire thing. You could make the argument that the Doom Marine um, fucked up his corporation just as bad as Olivia, but honestly, let's look at it this way: if the Doom Marine wasn't around to fuck up a few of those stupid Argent filters, Earth would be gone, dipshit, retard. So yeah, you're pretty much going off of this whole cliche after cliche after cliche in this game for the story. So for the story, no, gets a big fucking F. It continues to have a big stinking F. Doom 3's more plausible. Much more people give shit for it. Doom, ridiculously plausible. In that one, if you've never played Doom, where have you been for ever? In that one, the UAC was a corporation. For all intents and purposes, just a bunch of guys who were like, what'd be great? Portals. Portals would be great. It would solve a lot of issues. And as a human being, whoever might be listening to this down the line or watching it now, you can't deny the fact that an ability to make stabilized portals wouldn't make your life somewhat easier. I mean, imagine just flick a switch in your thing, set a dial, you step through it, and boom, you're in Walmart. Boom, right there, done. Let's go. You don't even have to have a car. No more vehicles. Um, you could easily take up all that space that roads and all that would take up with plants, trees. You could have an amazing yard, door to door yards. Could you imagine that? Why? Because you don't need to step outside and drive a vehicle. The only thing you'd need is sidewalks, maybe. Just to walk around and enjoy the fresh air, bike paths, stuff like that. Emissions, for carbon emissions from vehicles down. Yeah, you'd still have to have like trains and stuff because you still need to haul large and vast amounts of resources across one end to the other. I mean, unless you figure a way to make it easily accessible for portal technology. Again, hey, start big, go small, or start small and go big. So yeah, they were just a bunch of guys who were like, let's do this on Mars. Let's play with portals and see if we can't get, portal travel, multi-dimensional travel going through. Lo and behold, they didn't know that they were walking basically through hell every time. And a portal accident happened, ripped open, and blammo! You have the demons pouring out, and your entire staff is being murdered. Much more plausible. You don't need an evil corporation to fuck shit up all the time, people. Just people who wanted something nice, and something went wrong. They didn't have a hidden agenda. They weren't trying to make portals to hell to snatch demons and turn them into weapons like they're doing here. The UAC basically is turned into Weyland-Yutani in this. They knew they were fucking around with hell. They knew what demons were. They even wanted to weaponize them. So saith the robot, or the AI program construct thingy that kept popping up. Weaponizing demons for a better mankind future. You are weaponizing another species which has the intelligence to understand on the same level as us, and you're binding them into slavery as weaponized. I don't get it why people have to do the evil corporation that does that. It's just mind-boggling. It's annoying and stupid. Um, I mean, for fuck's sake, as much shit as people give Umbrella Corp for being stupid as hell, in this game, the UAC beats them hands down in just sheer monotonous stupidity. I mean, say what you will about the T virus being just how can you profit from that? Well, it's you know, it's a virus. I make it so it lasts only X amount of time. I sell it to the highest bidder. They deploy it against their enemies. Their enemies turn into zombies, chew up the rest of the guy's enemies. Then they have an issue of the buyers having an issue of, well, my enemies are now a bunch of stark raving madmen or zombies in this case. How do I take care of this? Well, I'm sure the person I bought this chemical from, I can turn to them. Lo and behold, yep, you have a bunch of kill teams that are especially trained in coming in and mopping up all that problem, barbecuing everything, disposing of all the evidence, and boom. Your buyer has just paid you twice. Once to buy the fucking thing, and once again to clean up. Profit. I have just made a huge profit. And it's effectively easier to take care of than we will make energy by sapping hell. Um, you know, the difference between hell and the T virus was men had to create the T virus. It doesn't exist naturally. You could argue the progenitor virus could fuck around, but even that was in a very small part of specific area of Africa, and the people who were around there only used it as like a hallucinogenic and whatnot. So I'm sure I'll get critiqued as hell in the comments ever if anyone ever watches this. But you know, fucking around with a plant that creates a virus that doesn't do much of anything other than look like hallucinogenics and maybe make you a little cuckoo crazy, has no ill effects in and of itself. You're messing with a flower, so at worst you're messing with an ecosystem. Okay. You're messing around with hell, you are messing around with, well, again, hell, magma, brimstone, fire, demons, unholy, abominations. And you're equipping them with human weaponry. You are intentionally taking people and turning them into revenants. You are giving, things cybernization to make them enhance their already formidable combat prowess. Hello? You can't control them. You know you can't control them. It even says you can't tether a Baron of Hell. I don't even think they've tethered the Hell Knights. So, at what point do you think making something more powerful makes it easier to control? And, it would have been fine had they just gone with, Samuel Hayden was just making Argent Energy and that was it. And then just a few people in remote labs, whatever, were fucking around with the demons themselves. I'd still argue with how did he not know that this was going on in his own facility that he has ultimate control over, which apparently he didn't, which is dumb as shit again. How are you the fucking CEO of an entire corporation and do not have absolute authority and control over every ounce of your fucking facility? That's beside the point. And whatnot, and he didn't, and if he had said, oh, I really don't know, I really didn't know that it was hell I was fucking around with, or something, but from the outset, he knew what was going on, he knew what happened, he knew what they were fucking around with, and it just comes off as, well, I know this guy's gonna fuck me over at some point, someplace, sometime, because he's a obvious corporate entity, which means he's gonna follow the trope of being a corporate jackass and always wanting to get money out of this situation, which, lo and behold, at the end, he pretty much did. I want to tether you and send you somewhere else. Um, which, by the way, no idea how he was able to send us away or anything like that, because in order to get warped to the well, we specifically had to have a new energy source to do that rift, which was the destruction of Vega, which, again, I don't understand how destroying that constitutes anything. I get it, he had a lot of energy to keep him running and whatnot, but the problem with that is you would have to have had a machine of some kind, because that's how this all works, in that room somewhere to actually, gather said energy. It's, you were doing hard and fast science with fictional science at the same time, and then you just threw out all your rules towards that end point, because it's like, look, I needed a teleportarium thingy-majigger to get to hell the first time. So, you can't just say, well, it just requires a sacrifice. Well, yeah, usually when you teleport or, portal in or get summoned to hell, the only kind of sacrifice that works is a lot of blood. Mass murder kind of thing. And yeah, you could probably then argue, well, there's enough mass murder throughout the entire facility. Well, in that regards, then technically the Doom Marine should be able to teleport in and out of hell at a moment's notice, simply because he is a mass murderer. No lie, he murders demons like, you swat flies. Like, waking up and taking your morning piss, drinking water just to stay alive. He thrives and lives on just sheer carnage. So I've, murdered my way through enough demons, possessed, and other things in order to just be like, you know what? I feel like having a trip, seeing the sunset in hell right now. Let's do this, pop. It's a bit mind-boggling how they determined certain things would work. It's just like they had different story writers at different points, and the last guy for the last act was like, well, we need him to get back to hell so we can close up the well with the crucible, which, by the way, that thing was not a crucible. A crucible is something you burn things in to strengthen or purify. That did not look like it strengthened nor purified anything. So, once again, really dumb of you to just pull random Latin words out and use them for willy-nilly with with no resemblance or bearing to the what the actual word means. Make up your own words. Call it the Dingelschwingle or the Hingy Dingy. The well wasn't really a well. A well is something that would be there. I mean, you can make the argument that, yeah, sure, whatever. The elemental wraiths combined their energy together to create a well of pure energy. I don't even care. Technically, we freed them, so technically, wouldn't those wraiths have, devoured us too? Because in their doctrine, it says that, they were both worshipped, protected, and, there's a lot of problems with this plot. Just ridiculous loads of plot problems. But again, I praise the music. It always felt really good, really intense when it needed to be. It didn't, slack off. The controls were a little funky, in my opinion. I really didn't like the fact that the only buttons to switch back and forth between weapons didn't cycle through the weapon wheel. So I can just rapidly press the button to cycle through. It would just, if you hit it, it would go back and forth between two weapons you had picked. Um, which you could argue it's a loadout kind of thing, and then you've got a weapon wheel to change that loadout. I am not a big fan of weapon loadouts. Uh, you can argue all you want about them. Not a big fan. Never been a big fan. Um, I wanted to be able to hot swap my weapons rapidly to fit a changing scenario. Like, I didn't actually like the super shotgun, even though I used it a lot towards the end. I didn't really like it because it didn't have the versatility. It was 2 shots, and it just automatically used 2 rounds of ammo and whatnot to do the job. So, powerful as hell, yes. Short range, yes. But it had no versatility. It didn't have the explosive round or the 3-shot burst I could do, which 3-shot burst was amazing. It was so useful. I could either use it to take out one particular enemy that was a little more difficult. I would usually take, more than 1 shot from the combat shotgun to take down. Or if the enemies were close enough, I could strafe and fire and possibly kill 2, maybe 3. It puts extra damage on those Mancubus, which was great. The grenade shot or the explosive shot was questionable. So yeah, super shotgun, meh. Plasma rifle, I never used the stun bomb, so I don't even know if it was actually effective. But the heat blast was kind of useful. I really liked it. I used it a lot, especially when you had quad damage. It was so gross with quad damage, because that blast could kill 3, 4 enemies if they were clustered together. That was so nice. Rocket launcher felt weak as shit. It felt more like an RPG. That it was just a grenade that was fired quickly. It didn't have an explosive radius like it should have. The lock-on shot was nice, especially on one-on-one scenarios, where I could fire off 3 rockets at one given time at a single enemy. I didn't use the remote detonator because I figured the game was too fast-paced for something like remote detonation. So yeah, that kind of was a problem. The HAR, the heavy assault rifle, good weapon. I used the micro missiles like once, I think. Didn't particularly enjoy it. Again, explosion and the damage it did was so subpar, it was ignorable. But once you got that upgrade for the tactical scope, so good. Pistol never stopped being useful, really. I mean, technically, yeah, it did. But I could still see it being useful. The Gauss cannon, I wish I had remembered to switch back and forth between the 2 things, because both modes were really good. Gatling gun I had an issue with because it took up the same ammo type as my assault rifle, the HAR, with bullets, even though it specifically said that the HAR uses a 50 caliber round, which a 50 caliber round in a Gatling gun would be unwieldy as shit. And truly just way more devastating than it was. I didn't use the turret mode, which I actually kind of don't know if it was better. I don't know what the upside would have been for it being a stationary thing. The upside for the stationariness of the Gauss cannon was the fact that it would overpenetrate the living shit out of everything, just grind everything to mulch. And had a wide area of effect, so that was nice. Turret, I don't see how it was gonna. BFG 9000. Perfect. Yeah, I got nothing to say about it. It's the BFG 9000 and operated just like it did in Doom. 3. I don't know if that's how it really operated in Doom 1 and Doom 2. You can just fire it quickly, and it didn't do much of dick. Or you could charge it up, fire it, and everything in a hallway was just annihilated. Even if you missed, which, eventually you start aiming to miss just because you have a field of weaklings. Chainsaw, I was really happy with how they changed it. Really well. Really good tactical weapon. Since what it could kill was based on how much fuel it would take up and how much fuel you had, and then killing an enemy instantly like that automatically gave you full ammo for every weapon, including the BFG. So fire off your BFG like crazy mad. Go find something like a pinky, because it usually only consumed 2. Kill it, because pinkies are annoying as shit. Get all your BFG ammo back. Repeat process. It wouldn't give you gas ammo back, which is fine. So yeah, actually, it was BFG and the chainsaw really well. I really liked them. The pickups were quite nice. I don't think the haste one was as good as it could have been. And in vulnerability, how do you balance that? Quad damage and berserk, they're your workhorse, the bread and butter workhorse. They get you through an area that you know is gonna be full of shit because you see it there. You're like, oh, well, this area's gonna be fucked. So might as well, hold out until things get really dicey, then pick it up. So yeah, all in all, gameplay, music, environment, they all get A's. Story gets a big fat whopping F. Okay, it gets a D. It did deliver a rather lengthy lengthy gameplay. So that could be on our gameplay technically, but I'll bump this story up because it had to pad it out and whatnot. No filler, nothing like that. So yeah, all in all, get this game if you're a big long-time Doom fan or any kind of Quake fan. It is really good, plays amazing. I probably won't be showing off the multiplayer because I had issues with it. As far as multiplayer goes, we'll see otherwise. I might do a video on it sometime or live stream some of it if any of my friends ever get Doom, and I'll co-op with and we'll smash in on multiplayer together and see what happens. But otherwise, yeah, that is it for Doom. I will see you for Overwatch when it comes out next week. Till then, take care.